What's up, everybody? Tonight, we're going to talk about the return of Pacquiao after 4 years out of the ring and much more when we come right back. Welcome to another episode of Ring Walk Boxing Podcast. I am Benn. And hopefully today you're having a good day. And shout out to all the viewers out here that are following. And if you're in the comment section, in the chat, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Also, happy Mother's Day to my mother, my grandmother, and all the mothers around the world. So, with no further ado, I'm going to jump right into this. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the Pro Box TV boxing matches. But just before I jump into that, I just wanted to touch a very little bit on Erickson Lubin, who was the main event of Pro Box TV boxing last night. Erickson Lubin did an interview, and one of the main points I had picked up, he was talking about when he lost against Fundora and how everything in him, there was no quit in him. He wanted to keep fighting. He had dropped Fundora before he got stopped. And he was kind of, talking to his corner guy that he wanted to continue fighting, but they felt like the punishment he was sustaining and the way his face looked, they waved the fight off. So that definitely stuck out with Erickson Lubin, having the heart of a lion in the boxing ring. So to talk about the Pro Box fights of last night, in female boxing, there was a 10-rounder with Romero versus Rosario. It was definitely a war. Definitely a lot of toe-to-toe action. In my opinion, far better than the Fatal Fury card of last week in Times Square, New York City. And when I say action, I mean crazy action, y'all. So if you get a chance, get on YouTube, look up Pro Box TV, and you will run back. You can run back last night's action. Because like I say, it was toe-to-toe action. Now this round 10 was one of the most best rounds that stuck out to me. Kind of that edge of your seat, thrilling type of round where these ladies were just going back and forth, and you could tell they both wanted to win. So by that time, they're just letting it all hang out. So I definitely would refer anyone to go to YouTube and definitely watch the Pro Box TV matches. And what I also noticed in the corner of Romero was trainer Manny Robles. For those of you who may or may not know, Manny Robles was also the trainer of Andy Ruiz when he shocked the world and stopped Anthony Joshua. So that fight went to a decision with the victor being Romero in a war. Definitely a good fight, y'all. I can't say that enough. Also on Pro Box TV, there was another 10-rounder, Valsaint versus Orizo. It was a back and forth battle, a give and take, Valsaint dishing out punishment and vice versa, Orizo dishing out punishment. There wasn't a lot of a huge separation because it was just kind of a back and forth, all the way up until like the mid rounds. Then Val Saint, he started to amp up, throwing a lot of vicious body shots, and eventually him putting on that calculated pressure and working the midsection of his opponent, Val Saint, with body shots, he was able to stop Orozco in the first minute of the 9th round. So we had another good fight on Pro Box TV behind the females on that same card. Pro Box, the main event, the super welterweight division. Erickson Lubin, record 26 wins, 18 wins by KO, 2 losses, no draws, standing 5'11" with 75.5-inch reach. Southpaw stance out of Kissimmee, Florida. His opponent, Ardrell Holmes Jr., record 17 wins, no losses, no draws. Age 30. Southpaw stance, standing 6'2" with 74.5-inch reach. Out of the Midwest, Flint, Michigan, the same city as Clarissa Shields. Shout out to Clarissa Shields, that's holding it down for female boxing. So what we had last night with these guys, you had 2 southpaw opponents. It's always good to see 2 southpaw left-handers get in that ring. They both had good moments in the first half fight, in the first 6 rounds of the fight. Erickson Lubin, which I had made a post on FB. I said he's going to eventually start to turn up because he hadn't been in the ring for a little while. And as I suspected, he did turn up. He dropped Holmes Jr. Holmes did get up off the canvas, but then Lubin went all the way and stopped Holmes Jr. by way of TKO. Another good match and a good comeback fight for Erickson Lubin. So shout outs to Erickson Lubin. Also, in the future, I'm going to be tapping in a lot more with Amanda Serrano. Her record, 47 wins, 31 wins by way of knockout, 3 losses and a draw. She's aged 36, southpaw stance. Hailing out of Puerto Rico, Amanda, the real deal, Serrano. And we're going to touch a little bit on her, some of her past opponents, on her record and resume. So her last fight back in 2024 of last year was Katie Taylor. And Katie Taylor will be her next fight. It will be their 3rd fight and 3rd time sharing the ring with each other. Now, I want to know, in y'all's opinion, did Katie Taylor actually win the rematch? Did she even win the first match, in your opinion? Did she beat Amanda Serrano? Because they were definitely 2 good fights. And the first fight was back in 2022. So I would like to know if you felt that Katie Taylor deserved to actually win the first and second fight. Now, what I'm waiting to see is for Amanda Serrano after this. Hopefully she can win this 3rd fight, which will be on 7/11 of this year. I hope that she can win, because being that she lost twice already, it just, to me, wouldn't be a good look to lose 3 times against Katie Taylor. So she's going to have to raise the bar and step it up a notch, and she's going to have to do something in this third fight that she didn't do in the first two fights. Although I felt like they were very close and very closely contested. She's going to have to take it to another level and go into another zone mentally to be able to put that W on Katie Taylor. All right, so we're going to go back into last night's fights. Because also these were earlier in the day over there in Nottingham in UK. On Queensberry, Frank Warren put on the Zone a nice card as well. It was a pretty good card. You had a 4-round fight with Harris Akbar versus Octavian Grady. Hurricane Harris Akbar, he won by decision. I definitely would say it's a pretty good fight. It's worthy enough to run it back on YouTube if you didn't get to see it yesterday. Another good fight on that card was the pro debut of Charlie Sr. of Australia. His very, very first fight as a professional in the featherweight division. His opponent, Ignacio Padres, I believe you pronounce it. They had a good fight or whatnot. Senior won his first fight yesterday, so he's at 1 win, no losses, no draws. Senior is a orthodox stance fighter, standing 5'10", age 23. His opponent was 18 wins, 18 losses, and no draws. Age 32. So in round 2 of their fight with Senior and his opponent, Ignacio, he caught him with the lead right hook. Senior caught his opponent with the lead right hook, and it sent his opponent to the canvas. All the while, from the first round throughout their fight, Senior showed nice footwork. He showed nice upper body movement, and like I say, his pro debut. This is his first fight. You showed very good mobility, ring IQ. He was definitely dishing out more punches with precision and accuracy. Charlie Sr., he won his decision in that pro debut. Like I said, he also got a knockdown in that fight as well. So run that back, y'all. Pretty good fight, y'all. Some pretty good action all day yesterday. There was a 6-round fight on that same card with Lewis Williams of UK versus Victor in the heavyweight division. Williams' record, 3 wins, no losses, no draws. Age 26, 6'7" with an orthodox stance. His opponent, Victor of Poland, is age 39. Record, 5 wins, 24 losses, no draws. 6'3" in height, orthodox stance. This was a decent fight, but it wasn't a great fight. Williams set the pace, Lewis Williams, and he was accumulating and winning rounds. You know, jab, and the fact that he was out jabbing and out pointing his opponent. His opponent was doing a lot of clinching because he couldn't keep up with the rhythm or the output of Williams. So Victor kept resorting to holding him a lot. The end result was a decision win for Lewis Williams. And then it was the main event. Anthony Apache Cacase versus Lee Wood for the IBO Featherweight Championship of the World. Now, this is on Pro Box TV, y'all. It was a good fight. But Cacase definitely showed levels to his game over his opponent, Lee Wood. And eventually, in round 9, he hurt Lee Wood very bad with a hook to the body, to the rib cage, that had Lee Wood staggering back as Apache Cacase was being the aggressor, coming in and throwing more body shots. And it was just too much. It was too much that the corner of his opponent, Lee Wood, threw in the towel in round 9. So definitely it's a fight you want to get on YouTube. If you didn't get to catch the action yesterday, definitely tap in on YouTube and look up Lee Wood versus Cacase, Anthony Cacase. Here soon we're going to have the vet who retired and is coming back to the ring, Manny Pacquiao. After 4 years, Manny Pacquiao will be returning back into the sport of boxing. For those who know Manny Pacquiao outside of the ring, he does a lot of good in the community, and in his country over in the Philippines. He's known to do a lot of good things. He's like an ambassador and well-respected individual. He's most known for his fight with Mayweather, the fight that happened a lot later than what we as fans wanted, but it eventually did happen. And Manny Pacquiao will be coming back to the sport of boxing to fight Barrios. So we'll talk a little bit about the resume of Manny Pacquiao. He fought in 2021. He lost a unanimous decision loss to Yordenis Ugas. He won a split decision over Keith Thurman back in 2019. That same year, 2019, he won a unanimous decision over Adrian the Problem Broner of Cincinnati, Ohio, my hometown. 2018, he fought Lucas Martin. He won by TKO. He lost to Jeff Horn in 2017. 2016, Jesse Vargas, he won by unanimous decision. And he won by unanimous decision in 2016, Timothy Bradley Jr. And then prior to that fight, in 2015, he lost to Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather beat Pacquiao by unanimous decision on the scorecards. So, with some of the last performances of Pacquiao, what do y'all feel? with him fighting a younger Mario Barrios. How do y'all predict this fight to go? I want to know your prediction and how you think that fight is going to play out. And make sure if you tuning in, you come into the chat, hit that thumbs up, please. All right, let's talk a little bit about Mario Barrios. 29 wins, 18 by way of KO, 2 losses, and 1 draw. Welterweight division, Mario Barrios is age 29, orthodox stance fighter, 6 foot tall, pretty tall, 71-inch arm reach, from San Antonio, Texas, USA. Let's take a look at his resume as well. Mario Barrios. Back in 2024, he fought Fabian Andreas Maidana. He won by unanimous decision. In the year of 2023, he won by unanimous decision over Dennis Ugas. In 2023, that same year, he fought Giovanni Santiago. He won by TKO. He fought Keith Thurman, and he lost to Keith Thurman on a decision. And then he lost TKO by Gervonta Tank Davis. So they both have the common opponent, your Dennis Ugas. So I'm just wondering, is age going to be a huge factor? Pacquiao, age 46, fighting a 29-year-old Dennis Ugas. While I get Pacquiao is a vet in boxing, an icon, a legend, age may make a difference, because it's not like a 5-year difference or even a 10-year difference. 29 and 46 is like what? Like 17-year difference? That's a huge gap. Extremely huge gap. 17 years in between. A little parched there. Also, in the news of boxing that's been circulating heavy is Bud Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez. And I would like to know your predictions. So if you're not on this live at the moment, if you run back my live at a later time, I still want you to weigh in on Bud Crawford versus Manny Pacquiao. Also, I did a video pertaining to Bud Crawford and Manny Pacquiao. It's on YouTube. So if you go to the videos, the video section, you'll see it because it'll have like videos, then it'll have lives, and then I think it has like shorts. It gives you the option. So what I was saying last night, and I'll just piggyback off what I said for those who may not have seen that yet, is that I feel that, yes, Canelo is a veteran, just like how Manny Pacquiao is. The only difference is, unlike Pacquiao, there hasn't been a 4-year gap for Canelo Alvarez. So Canelo Alvarez, to be fair, he has been staying active in the ring. Now, he's not fighting the most experienced top fighters, but he is fighting somebody. Terrence Crawford has a style that's state of the art. He's like Picasso in the ring. He's so elusive. He has all the intangibles. And that could be a main factor in the whole scheme of how this fight and how the outcome ends up being. Canelo has never been one to have great footwork. But what he did pretty good was he could cut off the ring pretty good. When you're the slower fighter, you need to cut off that ring. When you're the slower fighter, you need to go to your opponent's body to slow them down, to take some of the steam from them. So they're not being able to be as active to have a large output of punches coming your way. And with Bud Crawford, I think what's going to be his what's going to be a big factor there that I'm pretty sure Canelo has never had to deal with is the fact that he's a switch hitter. The fact that Bud can fight from a orthodox stance, but he's also can fight from the left-hand southpaw stance. I think that switch up is going to be able to use. He's going to be able to use that to throw off Canelo Alvarez, to throw off the rhythm. I think he can set the pace and the rhythm. Caleb Plant had a lot of success, although he lost in the end. Caleb Plant had a lot of success in their fight. Although I like Caleb Plant a lot, I still feel like Bud is more overall skilled than Caleb Plant. And Caleb Plant, I feel, is very skilled himself. So besides somebody like Mayweather years and years and years ago, I think Bud is the best you're going to get. That Bud Crawford is the best you're going to get. So the question is, I guess, the question you got to ask yourself is this. Being a natural 147 pound, that Crawford is 147 pound, only fought once at 154 versus Madrimov. Will his power be enough to make Canelo respected? Will his power acclimate going 3 weight divisions up? Shout outs to Cam J. What's up, fam? Will his power translate from a smaller 147 going up to 168 pounds? You know, it's all the little small things like that that Cam J also spoke about that it's going to matter. Or it could matter. But if his power is sustainable enough at that weight at 168, then Canelo would be in trouble. Canelo doesn't have the best footwork, so I think that Bud would be able to get off a lot of combinations. There's a lot he's going to be able to do to Canelo that he may not been able to do to certain opponents. So it's going to be an interesting fight. Now, one thing we do know as well is that Canelo is known for his chin. He has a very great chin. And if I'm not mistaken, in the 60-plus fights that he's had, Canelo has never touched the canvas. So, if I'm going based on the history of Canelo, as good as Bud Crawford is, I can't not see him dropping Canelo Alvarez. But I could see him possibly winning a points decision. But like I said last night, this cannot be a close fight. Bud can't go in there thinking he's going to do the bare minimum or just enough to survive and expect a win. He has to go in there and take control. He has to go in there and be clutch and hold it down and come out with 8 rounds at least. If he can't, anything short of 8 rounds is not going to be enough to beat Canelo on the scorecards. 9 rounds, that's a tall order. So I'm not going to put no crazy amount of pressure on Bud. But like I said, he needs to secure 8 good rounds of a 12 round fight when he's fighting Canelo, because the judges are going to lean towards Canelo if it's a close fight. And I'm just looking forward to see. The fight can't get here quick enough, if you ask me. So what do you think, Cam J, man? Are you still back and forth with Bud versus Canelo? What's your prediction? And what do you feel about Pacquiao coming back after all these years, age 46, against 29-year-old Mario Barrios? Does Pacquiao have any chance at all? And also the Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor, the third fight. Will Amanda Serrano finally get that nod that she's been denied twice before? Because I look at it like this. Serrano would need to drop, she would need to drop Katie Taylor, or maybe even stop her. That'll probably be the only way she could win. Hey, Richard Green, what's going on, mate? Yeah, it's all good, man. It's all good. Just here, discussing a couple of these fights from last night, upcoming fights, and just trying to get your prediction. If you can, Richard, go over to my YouTube channel, to my actual YouTube, and subscribe. I'm trying to get everybody from Facebook to come over to my YouTube channel. Click on the pinned link and come over to my YouTube, please. And just to talk a little bit about Tank Davis, man, because I'm a fan for sure, and Lamont Roach rematch. I think the rematch is going to be altogether different than the first fight. And I feel like Lamont Roach had his time to shine. You know, you did good. Don't get me wrong. You did good, but you didn't really get to see the real Tank. And when you do, it's going to be shocking to some, but it won't be necessarily shocking to me. So let me know y'all opinion, y'all prediction for the rematch, Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach Jr. And there's a couple of boxers that haven't been very active lately. So it's kind of like, where are you guys? So if you guys happen to come across Ringwalk Boxing Podcast or somebody you know knows these people, go holler at them. But shout outs to Andy Ruiz. But where you been at, man? I like your style in that ring, man. But Andy Ruiz, you ain't been active, my guy. Errol Spence. I'm a fan of Errol Spence. I'd like to see you in that ring, man. What's going on, Errol Spence? Where y'all guys at? It's one thing to be skilled and talented, but if you got ring rust and you're not active and you're not being consistent, that's not a good look. We done seen the high of Andy Ruiz all the way up here, and we done seen the lows of Andy Ruiz, and a lot of it was self-destructive. You know, not staying active in the gym, just like Martin Bakole. You know, it's being said that his trainer Billy Nelson said, whether he likes it or not, he was putting Martin Bakole on a diet because he loves his cultures of food. He loves the Congolese food from Congo. And I'm pretty sure if it's starchy and a lot of carbs and stuff like that, he wants him to eat a lot cleaner. So Martin Bakole, it proved to be a problem in his last two fights. Now, to be fair, he didn't have a full camp when he fought Joseph Parker. However, he had a full camp when he fought F.A. Ajagba. And still came in there like 299, I think, pounds. That's not a good fight weight at all. You gotta definitely, if you're gonna be in the sport of boxing, you need to take your training seriously, your diet, and everything that comes along with the sport of boxing. You have to take it seriously if you're gonna be on that upper echelon and one of the big names in boxing. You can't be like you can't half do stuff. You know, You can't pick and choose. Like, I don't want to jump rope right now. I don't want to do push-ups. I don't want to do a couple of miles of jogging. I don't want to do, whatever, calisthenics and all this stuff. There are no shortcuts if you have the mind of a champion. If you have the mind of a champion, like Daniel Dubois, like Usyk, these guys train and train and train. And you will see that when they fight here soon, when they fight in their rematch, you're going to see a tip-top shape, prime Daniel Dubois against a very master skilled genius, Alexander Usyk. And they both will be in impeccable shape when they step in the ring. You don't see those type of fighters like Usyk and Dubois just coming in the ring looking any kind of way. There's some fighters who's not even fighting actively and they stay in shape. So if you're an active fighter to not be in shape, that's a huge disservice to your fans and the sport of boxing. Because at the end of the day, you signed up to be the boxer. So you need to take it seriously and be fully devoted to all things that are required to be greats in the sport of boxing. So I didn't know if you was gonna jump on or not, Cam J, tonight. If not, that's fine. Because I'm not gonna be on here a very long time. So I know it's Mother's Day, so a lot of people are might be busy. But I still wanted to drop something tonight. And Richard Green, hopefully you see the pinned note. If not, I'll have to send it to your messenger after my show. Okay, I got you, Cam J. And make sure, y'all, that's my fam right there. Cam J, that's my peoples. We be networking and all that. So definitely check out Cam J Network on YouTube. Not only does he talk boxing, but he talks Ohio State football and a lot of other sports. So if you're just a sports fanatic, you definitely want to check out Cam J Network. Now, I'm not sure what's going on with I heard it's going to be a rematch, but I don't know all the details with Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn. But I heard that there is going to be a rematch. I'm not sure where the fight's going to be and the exact fight dates, but the first fight was definitely fireworks. But Eubanks definitely held it down. He deserved to win as he won, as he did. I just don't see a reason for a rematch because why keep Conor Benn having to try to come up the 2 weight classes that he had to come up to fight him, and then Eubanks, being the size he is, you don't want him to be weight drained if they fight again. And I know a lot of people say, "Oh, he'll be okay, Eubanks or whatever. He can make the weight," but Man, that's just a when you're dealing with the weight classes, somebody coming down in weight, somebody coming up in weight, it can get a little bit tricky. Now, some people feel that Daniel Dubois is going to win the rematch against Usyk, and I wonder why they feel that he'll win. What did he do in the first match that would allude to the fact that he should win in a rematch? Now, I'm not knocking Dubois, and I'm not saying he doesn't have a chance, because he definitely has a puncher's chance. Age 27, prime, has massive power, but I wonder what he's going to implement in the rematch that he couldn't do in the first fight. I assume that his main strategy is going to be to try to zoom in and go to the body of Usyk. If he feels that there's a vulnerability in the body of Usyk, that's going to be where he's going to attend to. And this will prove whether or not the body of Usyk is vulnerable, because that's been the narrative. So I can't say for sure, I can't confirm or deny that his body is any different than anybody else when he's taking a body shot. So the rematch will kind of prove on whether or not he can sustain body shots as good as anybody else. The Holyfields, the Muhammad Ali's, all the different fighters of different eras. Also, since we speaking about Usyk and Dubois, what's going on with Joseph Parker? He's kind of like still that guy on the sideline waiting for his shot. But at the same time, I would hate to be a situation to where he's waiting for Dubois and Usyk to fight for undisputed. Meanwhile, he's on the sidelines waiting to fight the winner of that fight, but he's not staying active at the same time. I think although he wants that fight, he might want to take a light touch just to keep the iron sharp, if that makes sense. In boxing, it's all about staying active. I think if he sits too long and not active, he's not going to be the best version of himself that he could be. So let me know y'all opinion on that right there. Also, I saw an interview with Malik Scott, and he was talking about Deontay Wilder. So shout outs to Malik Scott. Also, shout outs to Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder. And pretty much what I got from the interview of his trainer, Malik Scott, for those who know their history, they're like brothers. So it was certain things that was shared with Malik and shared with between him and Deontay, certain things he wasn't going to disclose. However, he did talk about the fact that he feels like Wilder has got his confidence back. And Wilder also spoke on that as well. That mentally he feels back, and that we will see like the old Wilder when he fights his opponent, his next opponent. So if this is true, and we could just get a small portion of what we used to see in the ring with Deontay Wilder, we'll be in for a treat, because we all know he has power in his right hand, and the power in his right hand is like no other heavyweight that we have seen. But I guess the question is, when I saw the interview, the guy kept asking and kept inquiring about the right hand of Deontay Wilder. And that's always been my issue, is that you're a fighter, so why be focused on just this hand when you got this hand? Why handicap this hand or set any type of limitations on yourself by focusing so much on landing a right hand punch that you don't have a plan B to say, well, you know what? If the right hand don't land, maybe I can land this left. Maybe I can hit him with a hook, or uppercut, a body shot with my left hand as well. I think you don't want to be relying too much on one weapon when you're in the boxing ring. You need to utilize all the natural fundamentals and all the natural body, all the natural limbs that you have. If you're going to fight and be championship or unified or undisputed caliber, you need to utilize all that you have. Also circulating, Tyson Fury, the Gypsy King, who has claimed he's retired. His dad, John Fury, is saying that Tyson Fury was robbed in the Usyk fight. If you agree with this, let it be known in the comments. Was Tyson Fury robbed against Usyk? I'm just shaking my head because there's no way. Usyk clearly won both fights, especially the rematch. But I feel like the first match was a little bit closer. But it's like this, being that I'm beyond, even though that's a pretty good fight, but being that I'm beyond the Usyk and Tyson Fury saga, we want to see new and fresh opponents fight in the ring. I want to see two guys who I've never seen paired up in the ring fight each other. Not the same old fighters fighting each other. So I want to see, hopefully, Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua. That's what I would like to see. Now, we're going to also talk about John Fury in that regard, because it's reported that he said this. I'm going to read it off of PBF, Seconds Out. Now, John Fury says, allegedly, not now, no. He's speaking about his son, Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua. He said, the horse has bolted. They, speaking of Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, they should have fought 5 years ago when it would have been something, when they were two unbeaten people. So he's basically saying when they both had no losses, that's when they should have fought. Oh man, that's shenanigans right there. That's foolish talk. And maybe you can understand my perspective on that. Let's go throughout the history of boxing. So Tyson Fury has 2 losses from the same guy, Usyk. AJ has 4 losses by 3 different opponents. That would be like saying Mike Tyson shouldn't have fought Evander Holyfield or vice versa, because they both had losses. So therefore, they shouldn't even fight now. Or when Lennox Lewis, who became undisputed champ, had 2 losses from Rockman and McCall, that, you know what? Lennox Lewis, he already got losses on his record. He's not unbeaten. He doesn't have a no-loss record because he lost twice. So Lennox Lewis doesn't need to fight Mike Tyson. Lennox Lewis doesn't need to fight Evander Holyfield. Lennox Lewis doesn't need to fight David Tua. Lennox Lewis doesn't need to fight Vitaly Klitschko based on the premise that he lost 2 fights. Come on, man. Come on, man. What kind of sense does that make? Throughout the history of boxing, fighters have always fought. I mean, let's even take this into consideration. Daniel Dubois, he lost to Joe Joyce. And he lost to Joe Joyce and Usyk. So Daniel Dubois has 2 losses. Yet, he's about to fight an undisputed fight because now he's a champ. And he's about to fight Usyk for all the belts. Yet, Usyk has no losses. Dubois has 2 losses. So you mean to tell me because a person's unbeaten, he's not worthy to step in the ring against Usyk? That's pretty much what you're saying. You know, it's like, make it make sense, man. Make it make sense. You can have losses and still have good fights happen. Amir Khan had losses. Kell Brook had losses. They still had fought years later. A slightly different scenario, but Mayweather was unbeaten with no losses, but yet he fought Pacquiao, who did have losses. So it's always going to be a situation where it's an undefeated fighter fighting another fighter with losses, or it's going to be a fighter with losses fight another guy with losses. That's just boxing. So if anybody feels that way, this might not be the sport for you. It may not be. Because at the end of the day, most of the fighters that have losses, they suffer losses because they were trying to appease and please us as fans, to fight everybody. The fights that we want to see, they try to make happen. They didn't want to cherry pick. They wanted to try to fight the best. They want to try to challenge themselves. That's why a lot of fighters have losses. So I would have to strongly disagree with that, sir. I would like to know. I laid down my opinion on that aspect, but I would like to know what the viewers think about that. And I'll say it one more time. Words by John Fury. Not now, no. The horse has bolted. They should have fought 5 years ago when it would have been something. When they were 2 unbeaten people. When they were 2 undefeated fighters. He's speaking of his son, Tyson Fury, versus Anthony Joshua. The fight that should have happened that I still want to see, and it will still be a big sellout fight over in UK. They can have 2 fights. 2 in UK, or 1 in UK, 1 in America, 1 in UK, 1 in Saudi Arabia. I don't know, but it would definitely do huge over in UK. The first fight would have to be in UK. Now, one thing about fighters is that a lot of times you get fighters that they're looking past the opponent that they're about to fight and they're talking about another opponent. But thing is, you need to focus with the task at hand. It's being said that Daniel Dubois was calling out Tyson Fury. But yet, Daniel Dubois, we don't even know if he's going to make it past Usyk. So it's really irrelevant to be talking about Tyson Fury right now when the man in front of you is Usyk. Not only is the man in front of you Usyk, but this is the same guy who dropped you with a jab and stopped you in your fight. Just like with Shakur Stevenson, you hear a lot of the Tank Davis talk and other opponents. But my thing is, if you're about to fight William Zepeda next, go ahead and put Tank on the back burner for the moment. You need to focus on William Zepeda because he's not going to be an easy night work for you. He's not coming to lay down. William Zepeda is going to be in there and is going to come. He's going to come for Shakur Stevenson. And if Shakur Stevenson, if his power and his punches is not enough to make William Zepeda respected, it's going to be a long night. It's going to be a real long night. And then I would have to disagree with Talk Sports with Simon Jordan, saying that Usyk's skills and brilliance, it won't be enough to beat Dubois in the rematch. So I guess he's basically saying that he won once before, but he doesn't feel that he'll win again. Now, like I said, Daniel Dubois definitely has a puncher's chance, and I don't know what him and Don Charles, his trainer, has to implement in the rematch that they didn't implement in the first fight, but maybe they have a trick up their sleeve. Maybe he'll I'm using like an analogy, but maybe he'll hit that home run or that Hail Mary in this rematch. It can happen. In boxing, all it takes is one punch, especially that punch that your opponent doesn't see. So with the power that Dubois possesses, he can definitely stop just about anybody that he faces. And also in boxing news, I might have spoken on it before, but just to kind of reiterate, Fabio Wardley of UK will no longer be fighting American fighter Jarrell Big Baby Miller due to some type of injury. I'm not sure if it was a shoulder injury, but he will now be fighting Justice Huey. Justice Huey was on the undercard of Anthony Joshua versus Ngannou. So that would be a pretty good fight, but I feel that Fabio Wardley will beat Justice Huey. If I had to give my prediction. I don't really see anything that Justin Huey has in his arsenal that would be too problematic for Fabio Wardley. Another good opponent, I think, that would have been a good fill-in is if Dillian Whyte was healthy. I don't know if he's healthy from his injury, but if Dillian Whyte was healthy, I would like to see Dillian Whyte versus Fabio Wardley. To me, that would be a banger. Two guys that like to fight on the inside. You know how Dillian Whyte is. You remember when he fought Oscar Rivas and fought Joseph Parker and Anthony Joshua? He's very scrappy. He likes to fight in close quarters. So I can see him and Fabio Wardley duking it out and having a war. That would be a good fight. And, once Dillian Whyte's healed up, Jarrell Miller's healed up, maybe those two would get in the ring together. They had a few words back and forth in the past. So what y'all think about Dillian Whyte versus Jarrell Big Baby Miller? that would be another a good scrap for sure. Um, Now it's being said that the IBF had ordered a purse bid, I believe, for Filip Hrgovic versus Frank Sanchez. Filip Hrgovic is not a phenomenal boxer, but he's a good boxer. Frank Sanchez is a better boxer all around as far as footwork, defense, or at least that's what we saw when he fought Efe Ajagba. When Sanchez beat Efe Ajagba, to me that was the best version of Frank Sanchez. So if Frank Sanchez can be at his fighting weight that he needs to be at, he will look very good against Hrgovic, in my opinion. I could definitely see it to where he could win by a decision because he has more fluid. He's more fluid. He has good footwork. He has good hand speed, pretty good ring IQ. So he has the intangibles needed to beat somebody like Filip Hrgovic. Hrgovic gonna pretty much just be trying to come at him and catch him and land some bombs. But Frank Sanchez is a smart fighter. So he's not going to stay in the pocket too long. He's going to move in and out. So I think that would be a good style matchup if that fight comes to fruition. So let me know what y'all think about that. Filip Hrgovic versus Frank Sanchez. I don't know that it's an official fight, but hypothetically, if they do fight, how would you see that fight going? Also, in August of this year, we more than likely will be getting Anthony Yarde versus Callum Smith. And by the last performance of Anthony Yarde, as much as I kind of like this guy, I feel like Callum Smith is going to beat him. He might even stop him late. I feel like Callum Smith is going to definitely win, whether it's by decision or by a TKO stoppage. Yarde just doesn't, it's just something to be off when he's in that ring, and I don't understand it. You know, the last fight he had, he shouldn't have struggled like he did. He shouldn't have struggled like he did. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see what's going on. Also, it was just something I saw on social media, so I'm not sure if it's something that's going to happen. It might have just been a thought, but I just want to just sit here and kick it with y'all. So let's just talk about some hypothetical fights or hypothetical matches that could happen. And I just want to know what your opinion would be. What would be your prediction? Martin Bakole versus the young Moses Ntuma. How would you see that fight playing out? That would definitely be a banger. Another good opponent for Moses Ntuma, Michael Hunter. You know, styles make fights. So to see a swift Michael Hunter who moved up to heavyweight, who's still moving like a cruiserweight, that'd be a good match for Moses Ntuma. To see if Moses Ntuma can keep up with the work rate of a smaller, faster, more agile fighter. Now, with Martin Bakole, it's the opposite. He's not really agile like Michael Hunter. He's not that defensively sound. He's more of a bruiser, a brawler, coming forward on the front foot. So Moses Ntuma would be in a situation where he has to be in the pocket in exchange with a bigger Martin Bakole. So that would be a good fight as well. So what's your opinion? Hypothetically, Martin Bakole versus Moses Ntuma, Michael Hunter versus Moses Ntuma. And with Rolly Romero's win over Ryan Garcia, it definitely seems like Rolly Romero's on cloud nine right now. You know, off that victory, been on a couple of interviews with different people. So he's definitely feeling himself. So what do y'all think about Rolly Romero? What should be the next matchup for him? I would love to see, which I know Pitbull Cruz has a fight coming up because Cam J said that. But maybe after that fight, it would be a good match to see Pitbull and Rolly Romero if Pitbull wins his next fight. I would like to see Rolly Romero versus Pitbull Cruz again because that's the guy who beat him, who gave him a loss. So I would like to see if the best version of Rolly Romero can get his get back with Pitbull Cruz. So let me know your opinion. All right, so I want to kind of piggyback off my guy off of Showbiz the Adult. He talked about the no running rule in boxing, kind of like if you overly clinch. Pretty much, he's not saying you cannot clinch at all or that you can't move in the ring. He's saying excessively doing so, it should start to be repercussions. You should maybe lose a point if you overly abuse clinch, if you overly abuse just moving around but you're not throwing back punches. So let me know what y'all think about that. Because if we bring up different scenarios like he did, and I'll bring up some scenarios myself, uh, to know the difference of what you would consider running versus the sweet science. Uh, People that were the sweet science of boxing was like Muhammad Ali. Sure enough, he would move around and shuffle, move around that ring on his back foot, but he did engage with his opponent. He did throw a lot of fury, a lot of flurries of punches, and he also did he dropped a lot of opponents. With his speed and accuracy, he wasn't the most powerful puncher, but his punch accumulation and his blinding speed, it was problematic for a lot of fighters. So he's definitely one who is a scientific fighter, but you won't consider Muhammad Ali a quote unquote a runner. Um, Another fighter, Sugar Ray Robinson and Sugar Ray Leonard. These are two guys that could fight in the pocket, move around the ring very good, but also can stop you. Bud Crawford, he can fight in that pocket, he can fight on the back foot, he can move around the ring, but he's not what you consider to be a runner. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want to get the two misconstrued because they're definitely not one and the same. Hey, what's going on? Can you hear me? Hey, can you hear me? Mic check. Yeah, where you at? Yeah, normally he's right on this. Well, we looking at each other. Oh, okay.
All right.
Hey, what's going on?
Let's see if this works now.
Yeah, you doing all right? Can you hear me?
Still can't hear nothing.
Okay, I can hear him.
Yep, I can't hear nothing still. I don't know what's going on. You can hear me, right?
Yeah, I
I
can hear
can't
you.
hear you. I don't know why.
Trying to see.
I don't know why I can't hear you. I'm gonna have to try to come back in
Oh,
again. Hold on.
hey JC, you see that emblem? It's an X on it. Yep. Yeah, I can hear him. Oh, do we need to plug this in the other thing instead? Yo, yo. Yeah, yeah. Hello. see my text real quick. You mean right? So, as I was saying, there is a difference between what you consider when people talk about running versus the sweet science of boxing. Not to say you can't be elusive and you have to switch up your style and you can't fight your fight, but they just don't want it to be excessively to where you're moving so much with such a low output of punches, or you're moving so much to where you're not you're not even looking like you're trying to win the fight. It doesn't it's not a good look. And I don't know if it's going to be official, but who knows, they might make a rule, maybe they'll implement a rule that'll make fighters be a little bit more assertive and stuff like that. So we will see what the future holds, and they will if they will put that all in check or whatnot. All right, so I apologize. I had a little technical hiccup issue with me not. I could hear Cam J, but he couldn't hear me. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this one up tonight. Like I said again, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers of the world, and make sure in the description area you check out the online clothing store. That way you can help my channel grow and keep bringing out the good content, and you showing support to Ringwalk Boxing Podcast channel. So everyone, be safe, be blessed, and I will catch you on the next round. Peace.